Hey, future CPAs, let's jump right into a topic that is absolutely going to be on your board exam: the different types and categories of cooperatives under RA 9520. Think of this as your essential guide to crushing that section.
So are you staring at that super long list and just feeling overwhelmed? I totally get it. But look, don't worry, this isn't going to be some boring lecture. We're doing a brain hack today designed to help you organize and actually retain this stuff for the long haul.
All right, let's dive in. We're not just going to memorize this list. We're going to use a powerful study technique called chunking. We're breaking this whole thing down into logical, easy-to-remember groups. This right here, this is your ultimate co-op exam cheat sheet.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start by mastering what I call the core four. These are the ones you'll see most often. Then we'll meet the community crew and the big players. After that, we'll break down the entire structure with the Coop pyramid, and we'll wrap it all up with a rapid-fire review to make sure it all sticks. Okay, let's kick things off with the four foundational types you are absolutely going to encounter. I call them the core four, and they all revolve around two really simple things: money and goods. First up, the credit co-op. The two keywords you need to burn into your brain are savings and lending. Seriously, that's it. It's basically a mini bank that's owned by its members, who pool their money to give loans to each other. Super simple, right?
Next up, the consumers co-op. Their main mission is to procure and distribute goods. Just picture a grocery store, but it's owned by the members. They buy stuff in bulk to get a better price and then sell it to the community for less. That's a consumers co-op. Then you've got the producers co-op. This one is all about joint production. Imagine a group of farmers. Instead of each of them trying to sell their own raw materials, they form a co-op to process, package, and sell a finished product together. That way, they get a much better deal. In rounding out our core four is the marketing co-op. Now, you might be thinking, wait, how's that different from a producer's co-op? Great question. Here's the key difference. A marketing co-op focuses on supply and marketing. It doesn't just sell the final product, it also gets its members the tools and supplies they need to produce things in the first place. Let's boil this all down. I want you to associate one keyword with each of these. Credit is all about money. Consumers is about buying goods. Producers is about making things. And marketing is about selling them. Get your phone out right now and screenshot this table. This is your high-yield summary for review.
All right, we have totally got the basics down. So now let's shift gears from goods and money over to services with our next group, the community crew.
Okay, so this is kind of the big umbrella category. If a co-op is providing a service instead of selling a physical product, it probably falls under this type. Think of service cooperative as like the main family name, and now we're going to meet some of its most important members.
This one's pretty self-explanatory. A health services co-op is basically a community's answer to getting accessible healthcare. It could be a clinic, a small hospital, or even a pharmacy, all owned and operated for the good of the members.
You see these everywhere, from jeepneys and buses to those small ferry services. These co-ops are run by their members, the drivers and the operators themselves. It's all about serving the community's transit needs and making sure everything is fair. This type tackles one of our most basic human needs: a place to live. It helps members own a home through collective savings and the joint management of housing projects, which can make home ownership a lot more achievable for everyone. Now, this one is a really powerful model. In a workers' co-op, the employees are the owners. It's that simple. They're the ones making the business decisions, they're providing jobs for each other, and they're all sharing in the profits. It's basically democracy, but in the workplace. Okay, so we've covered goods and we've covered services. Now let's zoom in on the specialized co-ops that are some of the biggest players in key sectors of the Philippine economy. Here we have two really vital co-ops in our agricultural sector. On the left, agrarian reform co-ops, which help farmers manage their land. And on the right, fishermen co-ops, which help fisherfolk get a better price for their catch. What's the common theme? Empowering our marginalized producers. Okay, pay close attention to this one because it's a common point of confusion. A cooperative bank is not just a bigger credit co-op. It is a full-fledged bank regulated by the Banco Central, and its main clients are other cooperatives. It's like the financial center for the entire co-op movement. These are just absolutely essential, especially when you get into rural and more remote areas. Electric co-ops are member-owned utilities that bring power to communities, which gives people direct control over this critical service. So what happens if a co-op wants to do a little bit of everything? Well, that's where the multi-purpose cooperative comes in. It's the ultimate hybrid.
A single co-op could offer loans like a credit co-op, sell groceries like a consumer's co-op, and market produce like a marketing co-op, all under one roof.
Okay, so we know the types of co-ops. That's all about what they do. Now let's look at their structure, which is about who can be a member. And the easiest way to picture this is as a simple 3-level pyramid.
This is a super important concept for the exam, and thankfully, it's really logical. At the bottom, at the foundation, you have primary co-ops. The members here are individual people, like you and me. Now, when a bunch of those primary co-ops team up, they form a secondary co-op. And when a bunch of those secondary co-ops join forces, they form a tertiary co-op at the very top. Just remember the flow. People form primaries, primaries form secondaries, and secondaries form tertiaries. That's the whole pyramid.
Okay, deep breath. We've covered a ton of ground. But now it's time to lock it all in with a final rapid-fire review. Think of this as your last-minute cram sheet before you walk into that exam.
And here it is, the entire topic all on one slide. Just remember the 2 big ideas, the chunks and the pyramid. The types tell us what they do. That's your core 4, the community crew, and the big players. The categories tell us who the members are. People join primaries, primaries join secondaries, and secondaries join tertiaries. If you can master this slide, you have totally got this section covered. And there you have it, your high-retention guide to cooperative types for the LECPA. The most important thing is, don't just memorize the list. Understand the system. Chunk the types, picture the pyramid, and you are going to ace this. And just as a final thought, think about the question on the screen. Which of these models do you think really has the biggest impact on our economy today? Something to chew on. Good luck with your review.